Alright guys, we're back with another one, and this is a comparison video between the LG K20 Plus versus the LG Stylo 3. Here we have it. You got two budget phones around the same price from the same company. These are two good budget phones from LG. The LG K20 with its rubber, grippy, feeling back, LG logo, fingerprint scanner on the back, 13 megapixel camera, and the speaker at the bottom. Look at this beautiful gold trim that blends into a black trim around the device. This is awesome. 5.3-inch 720p display, and for whatever reason, I'm still thinking this is a 1080p display. It looks that good. 5.3 inches. That is the absolute cutoff between phone and phablet. This is an awesome build of a phone, and I truly like it. So this takes us to the LG Stylo 3, which is plastic back, brushed aluminum type of looking back that looks good. You got the side that feels like metal around it, and you have a 5.7-inch 1080p display, and it looks good. LG, you did a good job with this Stylo 3. I'm pretty impressed with what LG did with the improvements they did with this phone. It looks good. But if I had to choose a particular build, I gotta say the LG K20 has found a way to mix a premium build with this rubberized back. It just feels better, and I think it looks better. When it comes to both of these phones, I believe they're rocking the same 13 megapixel camera. It just, the pictures, the way they come out and the specs of it, it just seems like it's the same 13 megapixel camera. So I'm going to pretty much give it a wash, but I'm going to show you some shots from the K20 . I'm going to show you some shots from the Stylo 3. Now, when it comes to the front-facing cameras, we're here again, 5 megapixel cameras, and I think they're the same. But let's take a look at the shots from the K20. Then the Stylo 3. Now, when it comes to the screens are very similar because you're talking a 5.7-inch 1080p display versus a 5.3-inch 720p display. So they're around almost the same pixel density. But yeah, we got to give it to the LG Stylo 3 when it comes to the screen, because it is a 1080p screen and stuff do look a little bit more sharper than the smaller 720p display. 1080p will always beat 720, especially when the size difference is not too much. But both screens are good, punchy screens for the price of these models of the phone. They're pretty good. So as much as I want to give it a wash, we got to lean towards the Stylo 3. Now, when it comes to battery life, now we really got to talk. Both these phones have removable batteries. They have removable backs. Stylo 3 have the same battery as the LG V20, but it performs like a boss on the Stylo 3. 3200 milliamp hour battery for the Stylo 3, and you got a 2800 milliamp hour battery on this K20. We got to give the battery nudge to the Stylo 3. You're going to get more hours of battery usage out of this phone than with the K20, but it's not that much difference. A couple of hours, give or take, but battery performance is impressive on both devices. Now, when it comes to my overall experience with both phones, for whatever reason, I think the combination of this processor and the 2 gigs of RAM on the K20 performs a little bit more smoother, a little bit more faster on this phone than on the Stylo 3. The Stylo 3 performs great as well, but the feel in the hand is just not there. The confidence of holding a phone is not there because of this slippery back. Once I pick up the LG K20, I feel like I'm at home. It's a big enough screen for me. The 720p got enough punch for me. The phone just feels like it performs buttery smooth. So, when it comes to both of these phones, the LG K20, when it comes to the overall power and performance that we're looking for, even though this is a budget phone, they're not running with flagships, this phone performs like butter.
All in the same thing, all rapping one thing, looking for revenge. All summer 16.
Now, when it comes to the speaker performance on both of these phones, I really think I'm kind of stunned that I didn't pick this up before. In a way, the LG, maybe because the way the speakers are set up, they pretty much sound like they got the same speaker in here, and I wouldn't be surprised. But it sounds more clearer coming from the K20. It sounds a little bit more muffled coming from the Stylo 3, but I think it's the same speaker overall. Now, both of these phones, same type of charging abilities, not fast charging at all. LG is going to take a little bit longer to charge up than the K20 because of the different battery size. So the phones are pretty much matching up. But there's one trick that the Stylo 3 has that the K20 don't. When you could whip out your stylus and jot down some information, and also you could take another memo, you can take out your stylus at any time and you could doodle, you could write down some information, you could draw a face. Now, when it comes to both of these phones are within the same price range. They're from the same company. They're probably going to get the same updates. One may get it before the other. When looking at both of these phones and you're trying to figure out which one to get, if you really want a phablet, get the Stylo 3, 5.7 inches, and it's 1080p. And with that stylus, you're going to be happy with what you paid and what you're getting. But there's something special about this K20. 5.3 inch, you can call it a phone or you can call it a phablet. I say it's a phone. It has that phone feel. It has that phone size. but which one to get. Which one of these phones are worth the money? You can even save a couple more bucks with the Stylo 3. Both of these phones perform pretty smooth for the price range. Both of the cameras are good for the price range. Fingerprint scanners are about the same. There's so many things that are the same, but you got a little trick up the Stylo sleeve, which is that stylus. But I'm going to say this. If I had to choose between both of these phones, I'm picking the K20 without even a second thought. This phone just feels so good in the hand, and it's a beautiful phone that you're going to definitely enjoy. So, the K20 Plus wins, but that doesn't take anything away from the Stylo 3. Say